Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's World Session, Thursday, uh, the 20th. Oh my gosh, I lost the date there for a moment. Thursday, we're already no, we're not. What date are we? Oh my gosh, we are the 20th. I lost, so strange. I just glitched there and I lost time and space. I don't know where I went. Thank you for joining me for today's Thursday's 20th World Session 2022. We're going to go hop right into it. If you missed today's session, don't worry about it. You can catch it live on my website at www.mmarzak.com. So we're invoking for this session the power of three. Some numerology is coming in as a manifester or a protector, some strength. Because if you think of three, the first symbol or shape that comes in is the triangle. We've got a solid base and things from which to grow on. Now, invoking the power of three for this session in the sense of having a strong, stable foundation for your own life, being protected. Also, some religious aspects or holy aspects are coming in. So the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit is coming in. And divine consciousness is coming in for this session. That feels very uplifting. We've been undergoing some very heavy and laborious and very difficult energies for quite amount of years now. It's going on 2 years, and it feels like the cycle of this hardship may be starting to break. There's evidence of massive changes happening in, for example, in the UK. They've dropped all the restrictions there. It feels like the rest of the world and different countries need to kind of sluggish in that wave, but it really feels on a global aspect this power of three coming in to support some divine changes. I'm very surprised at the nature of the session coming in. Now, how does this relate for you and for your life? Oh, there it comes in. So we're working right at the foundation. So we're going into the hips. You have to have solid hips, stable hips in conjunction that work well reciprocally with the shoulders, as the shoulders and the hips are reciprocal to each other, and then there's a tensegrity. So when the hips are balanced, the foundations of your life are balanced. So the hips it almost feels like there's some hip problems coming in. So I'm in the iliac crest, in the ilium basins, right in those hip flexor muscles. We're in also the fascial system within the iliums. Then you have right through that hip basin, you have the psoas muscle and the piriformis muscles, but we're right in the bones, in the skeletal system. We're right in that sciatic notch and the sacroiliac joints. We're right in those bones, also where the head of the femur meets up into that ilium. So we're working with all of those on a bone structure. So we're doing a repair to the bone. We need to do so if your hip is slightly raised upwards on the right, if there's a slight twist, whether it be anterior twist or posterior twist, or if there's a tilt some way, if there's any kind of malfunctioning or malplacement of the hip, it's going to throw everything off. Now, if you want to think of it in that respect, like to the foundations of your house, if the foundation of your house is rotten, if there's leaks, or if there's a crack, well, then the rest of the house is also impacted. Now, this is very symbolic on many levels, right? So there's a lot of information coming in. So we're going to repair those hips in the center. We're going to also bringing in the tensegrity, a reciprocal to the shoulders, because I would also throw off the spine. I'm seeing curvatures of the spine, any kind of stenosis or spinal deformities. Muscular system with the spine is also being affected by the hips. The fascial tissue also pulls. So if there's a pull somewhere, it's like you see my fabric, if I twist it like this, well, then the rest of it, you can see that there's kinks and it twists throughout the body. Now, that's the same thing that happens to your fascial tissue. If there's a contraction and a tightness within the muscle or fascial system in the hip, you can be feeling pain in the upper shoulders, in the neck, even into the occipital ridge. So this hip work is really, really crucial. So we're doing we're working this 3 ways. So here's the power of 3 coming in into the hip structure again, setting up solid foundations for yourself in your life. So that means not looking to the exterior world to make your decisions and your choices, but really looking inside of you and saying, what is best for me? Never mind what everybody else says. Never mind what everybody else thinks. But for me in my life, and then what do you need? What do you need for your life? What to act from complete self-authority, meaning to author your own life, to be fully responsible for yourself and your choices that you make. Now, who knows how you make a choice, but it's definitely based on yourself, not based on other things. So there's one aspect coming in. The other one is coming on a consciousness level. There's a lot of junk and fear trapped within the iliums. And so when you're working from a fear space, then the actions that you take are not practical. They're driven by fear. They're driven by an emotion, thinking that if you do or you don't do something, that'll save you or keep you safe. So need to dump that pathological fear from the bone marrow within the iliums bilaterally and even down into the femurs, right into that head. There's a lot of fear. Whew. There we go. So we're going to do a biogenics of dumping of pathological fear and irresponsibility from the iliums. Oof, and I'm feeling really dizzy on this one. Feeling really dizzy on this link. We're going to bring it up to the small intestines, to diaphragm small intestines, to help synthesize and release that pathological fear from those iliums. Then we've got to go ahead and get them working with the shoulders. Now, this repair to the hips, we've got to straighten them out. So however, wherever your body is tilted, I'm holding the hips and I'm just going to tweak them slightly. There we go. Back and forth, and have you just breathe into your hips and you feel how that feels for you. And then your body will stop exactly as you need it. And then slight up and down movement. Now, it looks like I'm going a lot, just this is so slight, like the hairs of a fraction of a hair of movement. And then if there's a twist, oh, then I could feel the release now. Oof. And that releases the tension down the legs and releases the contraction out of the femur down into the knees and the calf muscles even. Now we're going up into linking that repair into bilateral reciprocals into the shoulders. Now, reciprocals is such a great technique because it also repairs everything that's in the line of. So we're crossing through the organs, through the lungs, through the diaphragm, and the organs within the abdomen as well, getting those in conjunction in the right tensegrity with the shoulders and the hips. Oh, that feels, there's a relief. I can move my shoulders around now. Before I was feeling so stiff. Now there's a loosening. Now we're going back into, oh my gosh, we're going into the thoracolumbar fasciae. So we're in the fascial system within those iliums, within that hip basin, right? It runs in really, really deep. It's very close to, it runs through the coccyx and down along that sacral line. And we're in the fascial system there. It feels really crispy and it's in shock. It's suffering from PTSD. So that's where the root chakra is. And our root chakra has been, most people's root chakra has been completely thrown off these years. So root chakra has to do with family. It has to do with finance. It has to do with everything. The three basic needs, right? So there's that number 3 again: food, shelter, clothing, and everything has been askewed for the last few years, right? It's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of heavy energies coming in from governing facilities, from government. It's throwing off that stability of the hips. So we're going to do a few things. That root chakra really needs some massive repair and tending to. It's suffering from PTSD, and that fascial system is holding tense. So it's waiting for the next shock, right? It's waiting for that carpet to be pulled yet again and yet again and yet again. When we have our feet firmly planted on the ground, that our hips are nice and stable, we're autonomous within ourselves, we're self-governing, we're making our own choices, we're fully responsible for our choices and our actions, then we can take the practical actions that you can take the practical actions that you need in your life based on your needs, based on what your life dictates for you, and then not have to spew that out to everybody else and impose your will, nor have others' will be imposed on you. Oof. And then they're just getting so emotional saying that there's so much trauma. So we're dumping the trauma from that fascial tissue. We're dumping the trauma from that root chakra. And then also I'm feeling all of the children of the world and the grief and the sadness and the mistrust that they've been conditioned to, not seeing people's faces, not living life freely, not having that liberty, always being under control. Oh gosh. So all of this grief and sadness is dumping out of the root chakra and that fascial system within that pelvic area. There's just so much PTSD. So I'm going to use a biogenic. I'm just going to let this pass. I'm going to go ahead and use a biogenics to of grief. We're gonna do using a biogenics technique to release pathological fear, pathological fear, and then grief, and then sadness, and then dump control. So this control myself. If I control myself, I'm gonna stay safe. If I control my children, that's how I keep them safe. If I allow myself to be controlled, that's how I'm gonna stay stay safe. If I control others, I'm going to be safe. If I manipulate and control myself, then I'm safe. So we need to dump this consciousness out of the basins, and oof, in comes anger to really move this garbage out. I feel like moving and shaking, and we're gonna dump that. I'm gonna anchor all of this toxicity of control out of the system. It's not. Oh, we're gonna run an active memory thread. There it goes. We're gonna run the dumping of control. Are going to anchor it to the heart as a pathological consciousness. There we go. And we're gonna plug in a consciousness of love, self-acceptance, self-love. There it goes. And then doing a root chakra repair, because that root chakra is so beaten. So we need to do a few things. I'm going to wrap that root chakra up in protection. And there's sadness again. As soon as I talk about that root chakra, there's just so much sadness. So we're going to just let the tears run and drain out that root chakra. There it goes. Going to run an active memory thread through the root chakra. To the last a couple of years. This from 2019, no, from 2020, we're going to run active memory thread to uncertainty around finances, abundance, family restructuring. Families are being divided. Families haven't seen each other. Families at war with each other. So we're going to dump those active memories out of the root chakra. As an active memory thread. I'm going to wrap the root chakra up in some deep Reiki, and the Reiki is going to run around the root chakra, around it and through it, penetrating deeply, even reaching down to the 7 subchakras inside the root chakra. And then we're going to do a repair to all of the minor chakras, all of the 7 chakras within the root chakra, and we're going to repair the full chakral system. We're going to repair the chakral system in entirety. So the root chakra is going to go ahead and repair. We're going to repair the 7 minor chakras within, and we're going to bring in love consciousness, that holy trinity, to that root chakra, that everyone root chakra is repaired and everyone moves into self-autonomy. And I'm going to link that up into have those repairs trickle up through the chakra system and reach God consciousness. So we're breaking the spell of disillusionment somehow, by each person taking responsibility for themselves. Somehow this spell may be broken, even for yourself. All right, tap in. Whew. All right. That was a short, powerful session. Please drink lots of water, and I would love to hear your feedback. You can always email me through my website at www.mmarzak.com.